Namaste. We must remember what Buddha taught out of the compassion. His life itself is so much inspiring and very much applicable, relevant even for today. Mano pubbangama dhamma, mano sekta manomaya, manasache paduttena, bhasativa karotiva, tatonam dukkham anveti, chekkam babahato padam. Main problem which he confronted, dukkha of the world. So in order to understand Buddha's teachings, we should rise above our nature. Otherwise you cannot understand Buddha's teachings. Because Buddha's teachings are so deep. Buddha's teachings are so relevant for today and so deep and so philosophical, but many people did not try to understand, mainly Indians could not try to understand what Buddha said, what Buddha taught to the people. But I think we have to pay attention what Buddha said. You should understand the sorrow in this world, painful world this is. Konu haso kimanando nicham pajjalite sat. Andhakarena onadha padipam nagave satha. Because all people are in illusion. Oh people, you are in so much illusion. You are not understanding what is real happiness. Otherwise, if he wants to only ordinary happiness, he was already prince of Shakya dynasty. And he was born in such a great family of Gautama Kulodbhava, Gautama Vamshila, Kulin Raja Shuddhodana ka beta tha. And this Shuddhodana was ruling whole the Shakya kingdom and making the Kapilavastu as his capital city. And this Kapilavastu city is very, very ancient. And he did not construct the city, he made the capital of the Kapilavastu city. And he has chosen that city as a capital. But Kapilavastu was originally constructed by the descendant of Ikshvaku princess. So Ikshvaku princess, that means it's very, very ancient. And they have constructed the city Kapilavastu in the memory of sage Kapila, who authored the Kapila Sankhya Darshana. And he lived 29 years in Kapilavastu, Lord Buddha. And then in Mahavinishkramana he came out and then he perfectly understood Kapila Darshana first. That is Sankhya Darshana. That is why Sankhya Darshana has a lot of influence on Buddha's philosophy. And you should not understand Buddha is only philosopher and Buddhism is only just philosophy. You should know, some people say Buddhism is just only philosophy. Some people say Buddhism is only religion. Some people say it is religion and philosophy, but originally Buddhism is a way of life. It's a way of life. Like Hinduism. Hinduism also is not a religion. This is also not a philosophy. This is a way of life. That is why Buddhism and Hinduism both are same. That is why both are growing in the world and are no need to become Buddhist, no need to become Hindu, because their way of life, many people are living in that way. You see what Buddha said, everybody should have the compassion. See, one of the teachings of Lord Buddha is very famous, Brahma Viharas. 4 Brahma Viharas. Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. He said that people should have Maitri and people should have the quality of Maitri because it's a loving kindness. You should treat everybody is like you. Everybody is same. That is what actually even Vedanta says. So you should feel everybody is like you. Read in Sanskrit Subhashita, Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu. This is what Buddha also said. And everybody you should treat like yourself and you should have Maitri feeling for that. As long as you do not have Maitri, you cannot be happy in the world. And as long as you have the feeling of enmity, you cannot be happy in the world. Because enmity can develop only enmity. Enmity cannot bring the happiness. Enmity cannot bring the peace in the world. That is why those who have the feeling of enmity, the शत्रुत्व भावना जिसके मन में रहता है, वो तो हमेशा दुखित स्वयं होते रहते हैं. Therefore, you should understand what Buddha says. And Buddha says Maitri and also Karuna, compassion, universal compassion you should have. And that is why this compassion is very, very important for Bodhisattva. A Bodhisattva, with the help of compassion only, will try to become Buddha. And Mudita, one should be very, very happy. Whatever you have, with that you should be contented. You should not have cravings in your mind. You should not have desires in your mind, because desire is the root cause of the misery. Because Buddha understood 4 noble truths. There is a misery in the world. This misery is taking birth in the world. And misery, that is why it is taking birth in the world. That is why it can be cessed also. It can be removed also. It can be perished also. And there is a way to perish the misery, suffering, that is called Dukkha Nirodha Gamini Patpada Arya Satya. So that is why Buddha said that Mudita, one should be very happy, and Upeksha, one should be sometimes neutral, because nothing is in your hands basically. As long as you think that you are the doer for everything, you are doing everything, you feel very unhappiness in your life. So therefore, Buddha says that don't be ignorant and don't be afraid of the sufferings of this world. You should grow mentally, and for that you should be strong mentally. The mind is so powerful, because Buddha says in Anguttara Nikaya, I don't see, oh monks, anything, only one thing, powerful thing in the world, by controlling which everything will be controlled, by not controlling which you will be slave, everything will be uncontrolled. What is that one thing? That is mind, he says. Naham bhikkhave ayyam ekam dhammam pi samanupassami yadhaidam bhikkhave chittam, he says. So Lord Buddha was, if you deeply study Buddha's teachings, the problem is many people in India, without studying properly, only on the surface level, they start arguing. They don't know what they said. Both people, means those who accept, those who do not accept, they did not understand Buddha properly. Some people think that Buddha was materialist. Some people think Buddha, he is astika, theist. Some people think he is atheist. They did not understand, because Buddha condemned both extremes. Buddha did not accept both extremes. This you can see everywhere in every text in Pali literature. Also in Mahayana literature, Buddha did not accept, because Buddha did not accept Uchedavada. Buddha did not accept also Shashvatavada. There was a famous king, Payasi Rajanya. Payasi was thinking that he was completely materialist. The episode of Payasi you will come across in Digha Nikaya. Payasi was completely materialist, this king, and he was not believing rebirth. He was thinking that, because materialists like Charvakas, they think that this life itself is a true. This life is true, nothing out of life, after life nothing is existing. Enjoy your life, because this is given, it has come to you just because after life you don't know what will happen, nothing is there. This only one life is true. That is what Charvaka said, Yavat jivet, sukham jivet, runam krutva, ghrutam pibet. Some people by mistake, out of their great ignorance, treat Buddha in this category. It is not correct, because you see, he many times condemned the Uchedavada. In Pali Tripitakas you will find Payasi Rajanya, he believes, not only believes, and he preaches. He preaches that materialism is a really perfect philosophy. Materialism is a perfect concept. It's a very, very good thing, because he used to think that this life itself is true, and for 4 reasons. And he said, first reason is, you see, after death, nobody has returned back to this world. after death, so far, nobody has returned back to this world. Did you see? We also did not see. That is what Payasi used to tell. And second reason, he says that after death, the body is not lightened. The weight of the body is not reduced. Because if you say that soul is going, and after soul is going, body should be light, little bit at least, because something is going out of that. So it is not becoming light. And the third reason, Payasi shows that if life is not so, if the present life is not so good and there is some afterlife, great teachers at least should aspire for that. Great acharyas, great parivrajakas should think to get afterlife, and they should not like this life. But it is seen that even though great teachers, even though great ascetics, even though great parivrajakas, they all want to live in this world. They don't want to die. That means after life, there is no other life, because this life is so joyful and so permanent and so blissful. So even great ascetics, even great rishis they don't want to die. This is the third reason he was showing. And the fourth reason, he shows that nobody has seen how, from which limb, from which organ the soul is going out. Nobody has seen this. This is the fourth reason he was showing, that if you say that because after life, if rebirth is there, soul should go, no? Payasi did not accept the soul. Basically, that is the problem. And he says that, you see, after life, if there is any other life, soul should go out. If soul is going out, from where it is going out? Is it going through nose? Is it going through mouth? Is it going through eyes? Nobody has seen so far. So these are the four reasons Payasi has shown. And he established completely that materialism is a perfect philosophy. There is no afterbirth. Buddha did not accept this. And that is why Buddha's Shishya, his name is Kumara Kashyapa, because he learnt everything from Buddha and his Kumara Kashyapa, and he went to Payas Rajanya and he condemned his theory, and he said that no, there is afterlife. That is why we should do punya karmas. We should do good activities. That is what Buddhism says. Buddha also. This is how you should understand Buddhism. Buddha said to act, to do meritorious activities. Buddha is not atheist. Buddha says that do meritorious activities. Why you have to meritorious activities? There is a rebirth. Again, you have to get a good birth. That is why you have to do, this is what the karma siddhanta. You have to do good activities. And there is a separate text for this in Pali Tripitakas, Vimanavattu. Vimanavattu says the benefits of meritorious people. If you do good activities, you will get all benefits. And in the same way, if you do bad activities, you will enter into hell. So further, there is another book, Petavattu. In Petavattu, all these instances have been shown. So in this way, you should understand that Buddha was standing in between the two extremes. He is the Madhyama Marga, middle path he has shown. That is why I wrote a poem on Buddha. Maya Devi Gajaswapna Phalam Lumbini Vanajatam Asita Vacho Paripurakam Shakyan Vayagratarakam Buddham Shuddham Vandeham Tam Jagadanandakaram Vande Anashananindaka Tathagata Satya Dharma Sandeshaka Sugata Madhyama Margan Veshaka Buddha Arya Satya Vijnana Vishuddha. This is my poem in Sanskrit on Buddha. Buddha says Anashana Nindaka I wrote, because Buddha performed a very severe penance to get enlightenment. But after that, when he took some food, then he got some energy, and then he he understood the problem, and that is why he said that no, completely leaving the food, Anashana, is not good. So you should eat, but you should not eat more. That is what said in Bhagavad Gita also about the yoga. Yukta hara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Dukkha means it will remove. Dukkha word also is used there. You see the miracle. If the person who is doing like this, who is following the middle way, he will kill, he will remove the sorrow. So in this way you should understand Buddhism. And Buddha says that Subhanupastim viharantam indriyesu asambutam bhojanam hi chamattayum husitam hina viriyam tambe pasahati maro vato rukham vadubbalam. So this Mara is always ready to attack. And Buddha has got victory over Mara. Mara tried to convince Buddha several times. After Mahaparishkramana, when Buddha went out, Mara started following him. And always he tried to convince him, you see, why you are facing all these problems? Your palace was very nice and you are the great prince. Why you are facing these problems? You come back to the palace and enjoy all problems. You see your wife, the beautiful wife is waiting for you, the beautiful son is waiting for you. What are you doing all these things? You enjoy your life. That's what Mara was telling. But Buddha did not accept, because Buddha's burning problem was something different. Buddha had a greatest problem. Ever since he has seen that a person is dying, he started thinking, I will die one day. That is why he wanted to escape this death. So ultimately he escaped death, mental suffering. He has overcome after that fact. Because the person who gets Nibbana, Nibbanam Paramam Sukham, because after Dukhandrodhagamini Patipadam Arya Satcham means that the path which leads to the cessation of the suffering, cessation of suffering is Nibbana only. So one who gets in Nibbana, he will completely become happy. This is what the Buddha said, that you can get the enlightenment by living itself. So he did not wait until the death, and he did not wait until the many lives, because he wanted the clarification, he wanted the solution quickly, as soon as possible. That is why he understood Nirvana is the only way. Therefore, in present day problems, when you come to present day problems, when we are facing a lot of problem and we are staying inside the homes, when you follow the sati, samma sati, mindfulness, because smriti normally, sati normally it gives the sati is just remembrance in Sanskrit. But here in Buddhism, samma sati means it's a mindfulness, powerful, best mindfulness. So if you should be mindfulness on what? You should be mindful on your body, kaya anupassana, and you should be mindful on your Vedanas, feelings. That is why Vedananupassana. You should be mindful on your mind, Chittanupassana. You should be mindful on your Dharma, Dharmanupassana. So one should be mindful always. So as long as you are mindful, you will be very, what happens? You will be very alert. So being alert is very important, Buddha says. Because appamado amata padam, pamado machuno padam. As long as you are alert, so you will not lose any balance. And now you should be alert even with Corona also. That is how at least you should understand that level. Because that is not the purpose. Buddha did not teach his teachings for Corona. Because Corona has come and such pandemics and such epidemics are coming, you are disturbing the nature. As long as you think you can do everything and you are disturbing the nature, nature also will show like this one day. And we are facing the problem now. You should respect the nature. This is what Buddha says. Buddha said that that's why Buddha did not live in towns. Always he preferred to live in the forests. And Buddha, that is why he said, Namaniyani Aranyani. These forests are so beautiful. Natatta Ramati Jano. The ordinary people cannot get any happiness in the forest because they always get happiness in the towns, in the palaces. But Buddha says, this how beautiful are the forests. Only arahants get the happiness in only wandering monks and enlightened people get happiness in this forest. ordinary people are always after the hankerings, after the desires. That is why they cannot. So in this way, you should understand now all these teachings now, because you should be aware. Many times Buddhism says remarkably many things. Buddhism says very few things very important. You see, you should treat abuse and praise in the same way. Abuse and praise in the same way. And you should not speak much. You listen more. This is also Buddhism says. Buddha said. And also you should not try to get attached to this world more and more. You try to be detached with this world. So that's what Buddha says. Actually, those who follow the Buddhism always like isolation. Whatever you are saying now, new names, social distance, social isolation, all these things, we are using only for the fear of death, the fear of pandemic. But originally Buddha said, great people, enlightened people, those who want enlightenment, they never be attached with this society always. They try to reduce. सोसाइटी से अलग करना चाहना है, अपने आप को दूर होना चाहिए, जितना हो सकता है वो अपने आप अलग से बैठ करके. You should withdraw your sense organs, you should withdraw all your activities from this society. And ultimately you should be, because attahi attano natho, ultimately you are the savior of yours. You have to save yourself. Nobody is going to save. That is why you should be aloof. You should be alone. Try to be alone. That is what Sutta Nipata, he says, Khagga Visana Sutta. Eko chare Khagga Visana Kappo. With a lot of ecstasy, happiness, he sings that when I will be all alone, wander in the world, in the forest. So I want loneliness. I want loneliness. This is what actually Buddhism says. And those who have the cravings, they suffer more in such pandemic, in such times, in critical times. Those who do not have any desires, those who are completely mindful, those who have control on their sense organs, this is what Buddha said, all these teachings. Though they will easily face this corona problem, and corona is a very small problem for us in this way. So in this way you should understand Buddha's teaching positively, and that is why even Sonadanda, he was a great Brahmin. Other people say that you don't go to, because he came to our village, but don't go to him, because you are the great Brahmin and you should not go to him. He should come to you. Buddha should come to you. But then Sonadanda says, no, you don't know about Buddha. He is greater than me. That I will go to him. Everybody, after understanding Buddha's greatness, ultimately they said a sentence, one sentence which is repeated in Tripitakas again and again. Abhikhantam bhogotama, abhikhantam bhogotama, seyathapi ukujjatam va nikujjaya. Andhakareva tela pajyotam dhareya. Chakkumanto rupani dakhanti ti. Bhota gotamena aneka paryayena dhammo desito. All these things you will find in Tripitakas. So many people have followed him, and because of his greatness, and that is why today is Vaishakha. We call it Vaishakhapournima. Vaishakhapournima we say, but the whole world it is known as Vaishakha. And this is the only day in the world which is very, very famous than any other festival in India. The whole world is following this, observing this, and today we had to remember all these great teachings of Buddha. That is why Itipiso Bhagava Araha Samma Sambuddho Vijjacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purusadhamma Saradi Saptha Deva Manussanam. This is what actually it is said. He is Vijjacharana Sampanno. Buddha was teaching, and Buddha was also following what he was teaching. And he is in the Shastra. is a great teacher, not only to the human beings, even to the gods. So in this way, if you understand the Buddha, you will understand the real essence of Buddhism, and for that we had to uplift Buddhism. We had to dedicate our lives to study more and more Pali literature and Buddhist Sanskrit literature, and we should understand what Buddha said. What is the teaching of Buddha? Shila, Samadhi, Prajna. Buddha taught 5 Shilas, Panchashila. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. Adinnadana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. Kamesu Michachara Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. Sura Miraya Majjappamadhathana Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. 5 precepts are very famous in the world. We should not take intoxicants, and we should not be speaking untruth, and we should not do violence. Ahimsa paramo dharma. And also samadhi. And Buddha, Patanjali says yoga samadhi in Patanjali Yoga Darshana, but Buddha says that chitta ekagrata is itself is samadhi. The concept to control your mind itself is a samadhi. And when you do Shila and Samadhi, ultimately you will reach to Prajna. Panya, it is said in Pali. The Prajna is a great power. After getting Prajna, you will understand what is truth, what is not truth. Prajna means a kind of wisdom, and that is why Prajna is one of the 3 Ratnas. Shila, Samadhi, Prajna, 3 Ratnas in Buddhism. Prajna is the greatest Ratna, greatest jewel, greatest diamond. That is why it is a Diamond Sutra, we say it, Prajna Paramita. Buddha's teachings are very vast. Don't think that only Dhammapada and Sutta Nipata are there. So many books are there. So many books need to be translated today. And there is also Mahayana literature, Yogachara, Madhyamika, Vijnanava. All these things are very famous. And Nagarjuna used Shunyavada as a synonym to Madhyamika. But unfortunately, people thought that, they understood that Shunyavada means there is nothingness. That means this is a Nastika. This is not the Nastika Darshana. And this is not atheist philosophy. So that is what you should understand. This is a middle way, middle path. They all followed Buddha, respected Buddha. And we also should respect Buddha. And today is a great day for us. That is why we have to pray. We should remember the great verse of Buddha Ghosha, where he says, where he praises Buddha in several verses. Karuna Sihala Hadayam Panya Pajjota Vigata Moha Tamam Sanaramara Loka Garum Vande Sugatam Gati Vimuttam.